Hello, welcome to our next session in the domain of B2B marketing with technology focus. I am Jayanta Chatterjee from IIT Kanpur. We discussed about marketing communication or integrated marketing communication, as it is sometimes called, or this whole domain of promotion within B2B marketing. We discussed all that as in an introductory lecture earlier. In couple of sessions now, short sessions, I will be looking at marketing communication in today's digital world. So, we are titling it as digital marketing communication. Now, the most important thing in digital marketing communication is that, as we know, as we discussed during marketing communication session, that we are basically looking at customer to firm and firm to customer, these two sets of communications in marketing communications. Traditionally, we have always looked at the organization, the marketing organization to the customer. That sort of communication cluster is what we have covered in marketing communication. But in today's world of integrated marketing communication, we look at bidirectional communication. That means from the organization to the customer as well as from the customer to the organization. But the digital media has made it possible for lot of interaction which can also be viewed and captured by the organization, which is customer to customer, and that is the domain of today's social media and so on, and that adds another dimension to marketing communication in B2B today, and that is what we want to discuss in this session. So, in today's world of e-marketing or profuse use of electronic media in the organization to customer and customer to organization communication, a primary mode is email. So, emails can be outbound, that means from the organization to the customer, and that if there is no prior relationship with that particular customer, then it is often classified as spam or unwanted communication, or unsolicited communication is a better word. It is in the nature of, earlier we used to receive in the mail lots of brochures and pamphlets and various kinds of direct mails, which often you used to just take and put it in the trash bin. Today's profuse emails which are unsolicited also are often something like that. And of course, you can now create technical barriers to that, and you can have this opt in and opt out in mails coming from one particular organization to you. As a customer, you can have that filter mechanism. If there is a prior relationship between you and the marketing organization, then of course, this kind of emailing is used by organizations to maintain contact, to provide technical updates, to provide commercial updates, to provide updates regarding introduction of new products or new services. It can even be used sometimes to provide upsell or cross sale offers through the email. And then we have inbound email, that means email coming from the customer to the organization. These are usually initiated by the customers on their terms for their requirements. These are also very important, these inbound emails, because lot of customer support related, customers opinion related emails come to the organization through this mode and provide very important sets of inputs to the marketing communication activity. Now, customer, when they are seeking information, and therefore organizations, when they are providing that information for the customer's use, are provided through various modes. One is through search. So, customers is searching through various kinds of search engines for some information. Sometimes they can also access blogs which are hosted by the organization, marketing organization, and also organizations can listen into or observe the transactions going on in the social media. So, search can be organic, natural search. So, there actually you will use all kinds of keyboards and tags to highlight your offerings or your information to the customer. So, this is often called also search engine optimization. So, customers will actually access your information even if they have been looking for some generic information. By using search engine optimization, you would provide them useful links from your website, and they will then access that information, and that communication channel will then be open, and communication, very directed, very pertinent information communication will then happen from your site to the customer. To make this happen, to make your information pop up when customers is searching for relevant information, then you can pay for placement next to the keyword searches, and to make that happen, the sites like Google and all, they will use some auction, so that the highest bidder can get access to that advantageous placement next to the keywords. And then of course, if customer goes from that pop up to your site, then there is some payment involved, which is often called pay per click. Options for making customer information available can also be done through one option is blogs. The blogs can be textual blogs, they can be audio blogs, they can be video blogs, and these blogs are, which are actually series of pertinent information from the organization to the customer, are now becoming quite useful in the professional marketing or B2B marketing arena. And the blogs actually provide lot of good information, very targeted information when new products are introduced, new technologies are used to update products and offerings and so on. And then we have the social media, which we will discuss a little bit more a little later. In the organizational blogs, firm blogs, individuals can opt in, they can actually subscribe to blogs if they want. They are often encouraged so that they subscribe, or they can receive through the email channel periodic blog posts, which they can then listen in or read in detail at their time. Sometimes the people who are following these blogs, they will forward it to their own contact lists, and that is very desired then, because the customer is then becoming a partner in your this communication effort. And in fact, that sort of success leads to higher search rankings, because the search engines, as more and more people are sharing your blog related information, your rankings will actually go up. So, therefore, that is a very useful process. And then we come to this whole area of social media, and we will discuss it a little bit more maybe in the coming session. In social media, there are various social media sites like Facebook, Google+, Instagram, which is also part of Facebook, then LinkedIn, which is more often used in case of B2B, and then we have other various kinds of Twitter, which is now called X, and so on, social media. And different sites attract different audience types, and depending on the type of B2B communication that you want to make happen, many of these sites will be utilized. LinkedIn is most often utilized by B2B operations, but Facebook are also often, Facebook or Instagram are often used with some careful editing. The advantage of these social media sites are they have very large numbers, millions of people are subscribing to these services. So, therefore, you can address if properly designed various demographics with various kinds of communication packages. And these sites like Facebook or Google, Instagram, they provide a lot of combined social media and purchasing data if that happens. In B2B, that purchase will rarely happen directly from the social media site, but inquiries may definitely occur, and initiations of sales processes may happen. And firms will actually set up memberships often particularly in case of B2B, they will create memberships on these sites, so that post pertinent feeds can be posted and linked, and you can then with this membership process, you can manage different groups on different sites in a customized manner. And then there are hashtags which are now profusely used to broaden the audience, but that too in different blocks, so that you are actually not spraying information, but actually sending blocks of information to chosen blocks of addresses. Use of social media it has plus side as well as minus side. So, the bright side of using social media is that it provides many opportunities for the organization to engage with customers, and positive word of mouth or good discussion on some technical problem and resolutions can actually provide wide awareness through the use of social media, and that will enhance brand image, it will help in building the brand equity, and it will increase sales ultimately. All that are very positive outcomes of participation through social media in B2B, and it also not to the extent in B2C, but definitely here also the social media can help us build follower groups for user communities and so on. This instead of using public media platforms, sometimes organizations also create internal emulation of social media, particularly the software communities associated with large software companies. So, the coder communities associated with large software companies in a way are like captive social media platforms, which are also quite used in B2B. There are negative sides or darker side of the social media also. The negative word of mouth, in fact, if some customers are defecting or they are leaving you, then that can cause or encourage more defections. So, therefore, social media can sometimes damage your brand, reduce your brand equity. But actually most organizations even though this is a negative signal or negative possibility, they use it in a positive manner, because they will actually use this to identify problem areas and get inputs for sentiment analysis, and they will the problems are, you do not eliminate those negative messages, but you try to encourage other customers to comment on those, and obviously you have to fix the problem and provide that resolution information to that thread of conversation. And that is how you actually turn a negative input into ultimately problem resolution or problem solving approach, and that will ultimately possibly help your brand building. So, we have therefore positive side of using of social media in B2B, negative side, but then we have the processes of turning the negative inputs into positive outcomes. Now, we come this various use of online, just like in physical world, in the electronic world also we have advertising. So, these online advertisings can appear as banners in news sites or sports sites, or even sites related to shopping in general, or search classified ad information in general. So, therefore, you can have these banner ads which can be scrolling, which can pop up when the customer is on that particular site, and it can actually stimulate the click through traffic. That means, from a banner ad, customer may click for more information on some new industrial product that you might have advertised or brought up in certain classified contexts. So, the classifieds are similar to the physical world. They also, just like in a physical classified publication, you can have different kinds of text listing, you can have some photographs with some texts. So, the online versions are also available. So, there are various kinds of sites like Sulekha and so on. They are actually for they function as online classified ad publications. In these, the advantage with the electronic media in the digital platform is that you can also use profusely video, which was not possible in the printed classified compilations, and you can have very clever advertorials which customer can access, which can be embellished with video, and it can also in a way replace in a much more economic way the more expensive TV ads. TV ad for a long time were the only way of communicating audio visual packages to customers. Now, with these online advertising embellished with video, where you have actually you have got in touch with the customer through their own opt-in or through their own click-through, you can provide very good, very high quality information that will help the customer to make buying decisions, and you will update the customer with new products, new developments, new versions, new add-ons. All that will also help even in the B2B to initiate upselling or cross-selling. And these advertisements can be also placed, as I just now mentioned, on other shopping sites or other commercial sites where customers usually go seeking general information. Advertisements can be placed through contextual targeting, That means they can be based on website that can become very useful when they are placed on relevant websites. Whether suppose the customer is looking for information on gears and new material for toughened gears or long serving gears, or the customer is looking for additive manufacturing of certain automotive parts, then you can place your advertisements in that context, and that kind of contextual advertising can become very powerful, particularly when embellished with visuals and videos and so on. But you have to remember that sometimes this digital advertising can be hacked, and can be bots can be used. That means robotic implementations can flood your site or flood your mail with all kinds of junk. So, that as something that kind of firewall or filtration mechanism should be there in your system. We will conclude by discussing about websites. The websites are very important in the digital marketing in the B2B domain. The websites can, like for example, if you go to the website of JTECT, spelt as J as in Japan, T as in Tango, E as in England, K as in Kanpur, and T as in Tango, JTECT. Now, if you go to this website of JTECT, you will immediately see that a very high degree of pertinent information become available to you. You know that JTECT was earlier called Sona Koyo Steering Systems Limited. You know now that who are the new owners, who are the directors, and you can actually see the products that are manufactured by JTECT in addition to steering systems now. So, you can see their bearing range of products, you can see their Toyota Micromatic machine products, and all that will give you excellent historical information, recent history information. They will provide various kinds of product information. Customer can then click and get to more details on those product. They can access product web brochures, they can access manuals, drawings. So, you can allow the customer to dig deeper and deeper, to access video embellished information packages. So, the communication through websites, B2B websites can be extensive and very deep, and therefore, very useful in building brand equity. It can actually go hand in hand with the B2B sales process. So, it can help the field sales people. They can actually provide pertinent information during a discussion with the customer, and it can actually really help the commerce. If not, the order taking may not happen through websites in B2B that much. Professional products, of course, even the order taking. So, like for example, a large air conditioning system or computer systems, even the order taking can happen through the websites. But otherwise, at least it can become a very helpful and powerful ally to the field sales people, so that it can help in the conducting commerce. Of course, the websites are always used these days in the B2B domain to provide delivery information, updates on product being manufactured on a customer order, and also because the web is worldwide. So, often these websites can perform the first move in widening the geographical reach for your products and services. So, that is basically the enhancement of marketing communication that is happening today in the B2B marketing using digital tools and the digital media. So, we end this session here and we will continue on this track later. Thank you.